Hey guys, Bella here. This is going to be my first ever monthly reset video. I really like the concept of sharing my goals with you guys for accountability, and I really need something to kind of jumpstart my motivation, so I'm feeling like this video will really help with that. I actually got inspired to make this video by the algorithm, but also by a content creator named Selena Trevino, and her monthly updates were like so good to me. It made so much sense how she did them, so I'm going to structure mine similarly. I know there's a lot of people who do these, so I'm going to be going over my goals, intentions, my budget, and then my favorites. So just to introduce you to me, if you're new to the channel, my name is Bella. I am 27 years old. I am self-employed. My priority for August is to just be setting small, achievable goals that I think that are manageable for me, because right now I'm having a lot of issues with my physical health. I actually had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I'm going to be having a procedure done later on in the month to have some nerves burned off in my back. I actually got into a pretty bad car accident back in December, and I've had chronic pain for 7 months now, and so that's really kind of messed with my head, and it's messed with my daily life. It made it hard to do some things that were, I guess, I don't want to say easy for me before, but I wasn't in pain all the time. I wasn't constantly feeling like, down, and now that I'm feeling like that, I realized that I took a lot of things for granted, especially my health. And so what I want to focus on in the month of August is just all around health and wellness for my mental and physical health. So that's what my goals are hopefully going to reflect. All right, guys, so let's get into the goals. My first goal is to make a therapy appointment and to make a psychiatry appointment. I've been to therapy before, and it really helped me, and I wanted to be able to do in-person therapy, but I live in a really small town, and it seems like most of the therapists in my area are full of patients, and I don't want to go to someone who is like religious-based or something like that, so I'm probably going to wind up doing online therapy. And as for the psychiatry thing, I have never been to a psychiatrist, so I'm kind of like, I don't know really what to expect with that, but I'm considering getting on some type of medication for my anxiety, so I figured that that would be the best place to start. My next goal is to successfully have my procedure done on my back, and I know that that seems weird to set as a goal, but this is something that I've been working towards for over 200 days at this point. I've been in pain for over half a year. I had to go through a lot of channels in order to finally get to see this doctor, a lot of referrals, a lot of appointments, and thousands of dollars later, and I am finally going to be able to have a procedure that could potentially help my back. So my main goal for this month is to kind of get myself ready for that in order to, heal from it, in order to feel good from it, and just kind of treat my body as well as I can this month, because I know that it's going to be stressed out towards the end of the month. And, I'm kind of nervous for everything that's going to transpire, but I think that overall, just keeping a level head is going to help me in this situation. Okay, moving on to more fun goals, because I know that one's kind of like my goal for this month is to go to one new place, and I think that I'm also going to try to cook one new meal, because I feel like I need to introduce some kind of variety into my life. I'm definitely a creature of habit. I have a lot of systems in place for like the way that I do things and my routines, and even the days that I go shopping or the days that I work. Like, I'm very meticulous about how I do everything, and part of that is really good, but also part of it doesn't allow for like a lot of spontaneity. So I'm hoping that, by introducing these new things into my life, I can definitely kind of get outside my comfort zone and maybe learn to enjoy some different things. My next goal is to do one photo shoot. I have been taking photos with my iPhone lately, and I've been doing like pet photography. I actually volunteered at the animal shelter and took a lot of different pictures of dogs and cats and had a really good time with it. And I just felt like for the first time in a long time, I was like really enjoying something. I was excited, I was happy, I was smiling, and I want to feel like that again. So I'm probably going to volunteer again. I'm really kind of enjoying like pet photography, and I feel like it's something that I could get into a little bit more, especially, marketing the dogs at the animal shelter. A lot of times when they come in, I've noticed that even the dogs and cats, like, they're really cute, but they're taking their picture like behind bars, and it looks so depressing that, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not as, good marketing to show someone in their worst state. It's good to show someone in their best state. So I feel like a good way for me to like give back to my community, but also to like help my professional skills, would be to do some volunteer photo shoots for the animal shelters. The next thing I want to do is hike at one new place, and the reason that I want to do this is because I'm sick of the places that I go to. Honestly, I feel like I know like every turn and every twist in the woods in the places that I go to, and I'm really ready to go to a new place. So I'm thinking about going out onto the Natchez Trace. I live about 20 minutes from the Trace, and I've went to some of the trails there, but I know there are some others that I haven't quite yet explored. So I think I'm going to go out to the Trace at some point this month. My next goal is to finish 2 books. I am halfway through the book called Not That Bad by Roxane Gay, and I really am struggling to get through it. It's not because it's a bad book, but because of the subject matter of the book. It's just been really difficult to read. It's brought up a lot of feelings for me, and I'm just having a lot of trouble getting through it, and I'm determined to finish it, but it's caused me a lot of emotional stress in the last couple of days. And I think that overall I'm going to be more selective about the books that I introduce into my life, because I feel like this is a book that I needed to read, but maybe not the best timing to read it. And aside from that book, I also ordered a book called Bullshit Jobs, and that one is by David Graeber, and he basically is making arguments for like purposeful jobs and the way that our economy works now. And it's kind of just an interesting thing when you go on like TikTok right now. There's a lot of like anti-capitalist things, and just basically the concept that you can work 40 hours a week right now and you still can't pay your bills because of inflation and things like that. It's going to be good from my perspective, because I haven't necessarily had to really struggle that much with money, but I know a lot of my friends have, and like it's just a different mindset that you take on when you don't have enough money, and I really think that will be a good book to read. So my goal is to complete 2 books in the month of August. My next goal is to complete 7 journal entries. I only journaled like 2 or 3 times last month, and that's really not like me. I find myself not journaling as much this year, and I think part of it is that I'm in a relationship now and I have someone to talk to. Before I was by myself, I lived by myself, and now I find myself not writing as much. But I would like to get back into writing, because I feel like when I write, I have a lot more clarity on like what I actually want and what I'm focused on. And I'm honest with myself in my journal, where I might not necessarily be honest with myself every single day, but in my journal, I feel like that's the real me talking to me. My next goal is to put out 4 YouTube videos. So this is going to be number 1. I'm going to record, edit, and upload this video today. I am determined to get it done, and I'm not feeling that great, so it's going to be a true test of will. But I want to get 4 videos done that I think that will be good for the channel. I've noticed that like I don't put out videos on a regular basis. They're kind of just sporadic. I might do a lot of videos at once or no videos, and I really want to get more consistent with at least putting out 1 video weekly and kind of having a little bit more consistency in my channel. My next goal is kind of, I guess it's a silly goal, but it is to get a 1-hour massage, and I do already have that booked. I feel like when I get a massage, that's another thing that can kind of bring me back to center in a way. Like it helps me kind of realign with myself. Just being silent for 1 hour is kind of a rarity, especially if you're not in the shower or you're not asleep. It's just, it's a good time for me to check in with myself and check in with my body, and it helps my back as well to deal with my pain. The next goal is a fitness related goal, and that is to average at least 52,500 steps a week, which adds up to 7,500 steps a day. So I want to be able to say that I'm being active every single day. I'm not going to try to get 10K, because I feel like that will just push me a little bit past where I'm comfortable with, but 7,500 is definitely doable and achievable. And just taking a couple extra walks a day, or walking around the house and picking things up, or doing laundry can get you a couple thousand extra steps. So I hope that being able to hit that goal every month will help with my overall activity level. I am trying to lose weight and I am working out, but I feel like being consistent with that will definitely help me. My next goal is to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday every single week. I think that I'll be able to achieve this because I have my boyfriend as my accountability partner. We are alternating days, like every other day a different person will make up the workout, and so it kind of keeps it interesting and keeps us guessing about what we're going to do, and it's kind of fun to be able to do it with somebody else. My last goal or like objective for the month is to host a game night. I don't see my friends that much, and it seems like it's hard to get us all together, so I'm gonna do my best to get everybody in one room at least one time this month. So I think that you guys might have noticed that a lot of my goals are not necessarily big things. They're just things that I want to get done during the month. I've had other times in my life where I was definitely more ambitious. I was setting a big goal a couple years ago to pay my house off, and I was able to do that. And so I just don't have the same like hustle that I had before because it's not necessary. Not saying that there won't be times that I do that again, but right now I'm kind of like in a season of my life where I'm trying to enjoy what I have, because I'm really bad about getting in the trap of just kind of, wanting more and not being happy with what I have, and just kind of like looking towards the future too much. So I'm really going to try not to do that. And so that's why I want to move on to like my intentions, because intentions to me are a little bit different than goals. I feel like an intention is more of like a mindset or a philosophy or a way of life that you're trying to take on, whether a goal is like something that's concrete. So my first intention is something that I see in a lot of people's monthly reset, but it is to be more present in my everyday life. So, whether that means like taking an extra second to kind of look at some flowers or pet my dog or, enjoy nature or birds in my backyard, I want to be able to say that like something every day made me smile, something every day made me happy, and that like I kind of just accept life for what it is, that it's not going to be great all the time, but it's not bad all the time. Sometimes it just kind of is, and being able to be in a moment is something that I really want to work on. I think something that would help me with that is my second intention, which is spending less time on my phone. I know that I take my phone to like every room with me, and I'm on my phone recording this video right now. I'll probably be on my phone editing it and then looking at YouTube analytics later on with it. So I'm really guilty of being on my phone a lot, and I'm thinking about deleting social media apps and only using them on the weekend, because I've noticed that my attention span is not what it used to be. When I sit down to try and read, I really have a hard time focusing. And I feel like a lot of us are just kind of trying to get our dopamine fix from our phones all the time. We don't realize how, we wake up, we look at it, we go to sleep, we look at it. So I'm really trying to break that cycle. And I will admit that this is something that I've tried to do several times, and I won't say that I've failed at it. That's why I like the concept of intentions, because I'm intending to not do it as much. And so if I can look at it that way, I can say it's not a failure if you don't, do it, but if you just keep trying, that is a success. My next intention is to stop worrying about my analytics on YouTube and views and things like that and revenue, and focus more on producing consistent quality content that could potentially help someone. Because the videos that I feel most proud of are the ones where people comment and tell me, wow, thank you for this information. I really needed this information. I couldn't find it anywhere, or this video helped change my perspective or my mindset. And I feel like when I create things like that, I feel more fulfilled in myself. So I'm gonna try to not worry about the YouTube grind, the subscribers and things like that, because to be honest with you guys, like I definitely don't do it for the money. Like I only make like a couple $100s a month from YouTube, and it's not enough to really pay very much, but it's probably enough to pay like my car payment and for gas. But outside of that, I really just do it because I enjoy doing it, and it's a creative outlet for me to do like something that I'm not, I wasn't good at this a couple years ago. I'm not saying I'm great at it now, but in the past, I was not able to edit or look at the camera, format a video or anything like that. So I think that I've come a long way with it. But one thing that I want to get back to is kind of making videos for the sake of just making videos and not worrying about every little analytic. The next thing is probably the most difficult thing, and that is my intention to love my body the way it is today and not be so hard on myself, because I'm really bad about like negative self-talk, and I call myself fat, I call myself lazy, and I'm not very nice to myself if I'm being honest. And I'm sure that contributes to me not reaching some of my goals, because I don't talk to myself the way that I would talk to a friend sometimes. And I think that one of the things I have to be very deliberate about is just kind of accepting where I'm at right now, and just realizing that where I'm at is where I'm at because of the effort that I have or haven't put in, and all the things that I've gone through in the last couple of years. I mean, we've all had a really tough last couple of years. I don't know anyone who came out unscathed from everything that has been going on in the world. So just giving myself a little bit of grace to say, hey, you're doing all you can. You can't do everything at once, and just kind of be okay with who I am today. My next intention is to keep searching for a more meaningful way to make a living. Like I said about the way the animal shelter volunteering made me feel, my job doesn't make me feel like that anymore. If you guys don't know, I am a reseller, so I just buy things and resell them, which is, kind of interesting. There's a lot of things on YouTube about it, but at this point, it's not really doing it for me. I guess, I don't know. I make a living doing what I want to do, and I don't have to do anything super crazy. I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job. I don't have to answer to a boss. And I'm really thankful for what I have, but at this point, I feel like I need to grow outside of this and pursue something else, and I don't know what that is. So, the only way to kind of get started down that road is to start exploring things, and it makes me really nervous to think about, what would my life look like if I'm not doing this. So I really think that I need to explore some other opportunities, so I'm going to be kind of keeping my ears and eyes open for something new to be doing career-wise. My next intention is to start winding down before I go to sleep. I notice a lot of times I'll just think that I can just go to my bedroom and go to sleep, when really I feel like the best night's sleep I get are when I start winding down about 2 hours before bed. Maybe I'm lighting a candle, reading a book, putting on lotion, maybe I take a bath or a shower, put on my pajamas, and just kind of get relaxed, kind of get in my own space and stop thinking about the day and everything like that. So one of my intentions is going to be to cut caffeine before a certain time period in the day, so that I'm not all amped up, because I definitely fall into the trap of thinking that caffeine can make up for lack of sleep, and that is so not true. I usually get pretty good sleep, but since I've had chronic pain, it's been tough to sleep. I find myself tossing and turning and rolling around a lot more than I used to. I used to just sleep through the night. So, working on my sleep is something that I also want to work on. The last intention that I have is to check on all of this weekly. So to check in with myself, I think I'm probably going to do this on Sundays, because on Sunday I usually get a new calendar ready. I have a little weekly planner pad that I use, and that helps me kind of track what I need to do on a weekly basis. And then I also have my calendar that I use monthly, and then I even have a daily thing that I use sometimes. It's called the time box, and I use it when I really need to schedule my day. I don't use it every day, but it can be helpful to kind of schedule your day by the hour if you have a lot to get done. All right, guys, now that we have finished up with intentions, we're going to be moving on to budget. And I think that this is kind of interesting, because I'm always curious to see like how much money people spend, how much does it cost to live in certain areas, and I think that it's interesting to hear about it. So for me, I live in a very cheap cost of living area anyways, but I don't have rent or a house payment. That's going to affect my monthly budget a lot, because that's usually people's highest bill is their rent or their house payment, and I do not have that, thankfully. So I check my bank account like every, I guess, 3 to 5 days and put everything into a spreadsheet. And one of the reasons that I started doing this was for my business. I actually kept doing it for myself and my personal expenses. So what I talk about in this video is only going to be personal expenses. It's not going to have anything to do with my business related expenses. So like I said, I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I go in and categorize all my expenses, so I know which things relate to my car, which things relate to my house, groceries, restaurant, entertainment, things like that. So it helps me to see like how much on average do I spend per month on restaurants, how much do I spend per month on groceries, and that way I know if I'm going a little bit too high, I can kind of reel it back in. I will say I'm not super obsessed with how much money I spend, because I know I have pretty good spending habits. I don't buy a lot of expensive things. Most of the things that I have come from like secondhand stores, and I'm overall just not a huge consumer. But I just want to say that before getting started, because I know that some of you guys are going to be like, wow, that's really low, that what you're spending, and other people are going to say, oh, that's really high for this or for that. So overall your mileage may vary month to month. So let's just get into what I spent for July, and I will update you guys for August when I make my September video. So for July I spent $1,280. Super low month. Compared to last month, I spent $3,210, so nearly triple what I spent this month. So a lot of it is just variables, like my car insurance and my house insurance came out last month, so that is something that I choose to pay yearly and every 6 months, because I get a discount for paying in full. So my highest area of spending was transportation for $327, and normally for most people I think that would be their rent or their house, but since I don't have that, I have a car payment that is $237, and then the rest I spent on gas and a $10 car wash. So I only had to fill up on gas 2 times this month, so I thought that that was pretty good. I drive a Nissan Versa, so it's a pretty fuel efficient car, and I have a small car payment. I'm working on paying off my car, but I'm not stressing on it too much, because I have a really low interest rate, and no real reason to worry about trying to pay it off all at once. The next category is house expenses, and that was $250. I spent $90 on lawn care, which is the guy who cuts my grass. He charges me $45 each time, and he comes just about every 2 weeks. I also spent $106 on landscaping myself. I put out like 15 or 20 bags of mulch, and I also bought roses, and I had a lot going on this weekend as far as landscaping. I had to spray for weeds and things like that, so when it was all said and done, I had spent over $100 just getting some landscaping done in my front yard. The other $30 from that was some water filters that I bought for my faucet. We have really bad water here in the city, so I try to keep a water filter on what I can and try not to drink directly from the tap. The next category was utilities. My utilities were $205, and that includes like water, electric, garbage, everything's included in one bill where I live. The next category is medical. It was $137, and that's really low. I've had a lot of medical bills lately. I've had months where I had to pay $1,000 in medical bills, so I've had a lot of stress when it comes to that. But what I've kind of just learned is that can't do very much about it and just have to pay it as it comes and not worry, because I really let myself get worked up about it, because I was like, it's something that is out of my control and something that doesn't feel fair, because what happened to me like wasn't in my control, and now I'm having to deal with the repercussions of it. But for medical, my health insurance monthly is $75 for the month. I know that's like stupid cheap because I'm on the affordable healthcare, like healthcare.gov, and I have a video about that as well. I will be signing back up for that in November and choosing a new plan. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with my current plan or not, but right now I have like Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is pretty good insurance, but my deductible is really high. It's like $3,700, and you know, right now I've only paid in like 25% of it, so I'm considering getting like a lower deductible plan. But overall for medical, I also spent some money on a back brace that I really should be wearing right now because I'm sitting, but I'm not wearing it. And I also bought a little stretcher thing that I can like lay back on, and it stretches my back out. So that was just something that I tried to buy to feel better. And I also had some prescriptions that needed refilling. So altogether, $137 on medical. For restaurants, I spent $76. Went out to eat 3 times, I think either by myself or with friends. Usually when I go out to eat with my boyfriend, he always pays. So, you know, kind of nice there. Shout out Daniel, thank you. But overall, I haven't really paid that much for restaurants lately. We've been trying to eat at home. So difficult. I know there's some nights where we just want to go get takeout so bad because we just don't want the home food. But for our calories and for our, you know, for our budget and for everything, we're really trying to eat at home when we can. The next category was my phone bill. This is $70 through T-Mobile. I thought about changing plans, and honestly, I've just been kind of lazy. I don't know if I can get a cheaper one. I'm sure I could switch to something else, but I'm not sure if the coverage would be worse. And I actually work on my phone quite a lot, so I don't want to lose any kind of, you know, ability to work if I downgrade my phone plan. So honestly, I'll probably just keep that where it is. So for shopping, I spent $68. I didn't spend a lot of money on myself. I bought some leggings that were from eBay, and they were actually like used Athleta leggings, and I think that those were a really good purchase. I've already worn those a bunch of times. I like Athleta and Lululemon. I don't like their prices, so I usually try to find some like gently used ones on eBay. I also bought some Pacifica perfume, and I bought a cutting board that like hangs up as a decoration. So I only bought 3 things like that were considered like, I guess, shopping. I'm not a big shopper. It gives me just as much joy to go to the grocery store and buy some food than it does to like go buy clothes. I really don't care about clothes. Like, this is an American Eagle shirt like from like 7 years ago, so I don't know, it's just not a big thing for me. I don't know why. I've never been that into clothing. Groceries also really low. It was like $55. My boyfriend usually buys the groceries since he lives with me, so you know, not a lot to spend there. Sometimes I'll spend more money on groceries, but he's usually the one who is paying for that. So I also have a category called books and education. Usually it's just Amazon books, but sometimes I do take online courses that I have to pay for, or I'll have, you know, some event that I go to that I consider to be educational, and I'll put that in this category. I spent $31 and I bought 2 new books off Amazon, the same books that I was telling you guys about earlier. I always try to read newer books. Sometimes I'll read an older book, but like, the world is rapidly changing, so I try to read books that have at least came out in the last 2 to 3 years. So alcohol, I spent $18, very low. I have not been drinking nearly as much lately. I've really cut back, and I think that it's been great. I think I felt better, and I've got a lot of videos on my channel about trying to do like 30 days sober and things like that. So alcohol is something that has been mostly a negative presence in my life. So I think that, you know, I only went out, I think, twice this month. I only spent $18. I think maybe I had a couple beers. Usually I would have like, you know, 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 drinks, and I'm down to having 1 to 2 drinks when I go out, so I'm calling it progress. The gym was $16. I have a category called like gym and fitness. If I buy like weights or stuff like that, I put it in that category. I have a pretty standard set of like dumbbells and kettlebells already, so there's really no need for me to make those purchases anymore. I just pay monthly for my gym membership. The next category is entertainment. Only spent $13 and that was on Hulu. My mom pays for Netflix and we share them. I don't know how much longer that's gonna last because all of these streaming services are trying to get every nickel and dime from us. But right now I just pay for Hulu. In this category, I would also put things like if I went to the movies or I went to see a play or something like that, I would put that in the entertainment category. So basically what this lets me know is that I didn't do a lot of entertaining things last month. So, you can get a pretty good blueprint of your life just by looking at your money. So I think that that's another good reason to track your expenses. You don't have to look at it every day. You could look at it once a week, and it's just good to kind of write down what you've purchased, where you bought it and what you've been doing with your money. I feel like it tells a story about your life. So that is all the money that I spent in July. For August, I'm not going to be too worried about it. My one thing that I would like to change about my finances is that I would like to set up some kind of retirement fund that is like tax deductible or tax deferred because I'm self-employed. I think that would be like a SEP, I believe is what it's called. But I need to look into setting that up. So if any of you guys have ever done that or have any info about it, please let me know. I think that I'm giving too much money to the government when I pay taxes. I should be able to put some of that in a retirement account, and that's something that I really need to work on this year. So now that we've talked about money, let's move on to the last portion, which is favorites. You'll have to bear with me because I've never made a video like this, but what I understand is that you say your favorite things that you're buying, your favorite things you're eating or using or watching or doing, and so we're just going to go over a couple of my favorites, and I think that you guys will like some of these as well. So the first one is the lipstick that I'm wearing. I wear this in pretty much all of my videos and I love this lipstick. It's my everyday lipstick. It is the NYX or NYX brand and the color is a la mode, and I believe it's called a Shout Loud lipstick, and it's a satin lipstick. I really like this one. It feels like nothing's on my lips. I don't like the feeling of lip gloss. I love the way lip gloss looks, but it just feels like so weird and slimy on my lips. So this has really been my go-to lipstick lately. The next is Lemon Loaf Tea by Tezo, and this is a caffeine-free tea, which is very important because I've been trying to cut back on caffeine. I love this. It's kind of like one of their dessert ones, and it's super good. I just put like a splash of almond milk in it. It's a good way for me to have like a really low-calorie drink during the day. The next thing that is my favorite thing, probably like something that I'm just going to consume every day till the day I die unless somebody pries it away from me, is my sparkling water. And lately I've been drinking a lot of the AHA water. I've also been drinking this Perrier water that has like a little bit of calories, like 35 calories. It's called like Fusions. And I've also been drinking Spindrift water. So all of those I love. I don't know. It's really hard to go back to like regular tap water or like non-carbonated water after you get seltzer water. I spend money on it, but it is something that like I guess I enjoy and it's relatively harmless, so I think that I'm just gonna keep doing it. The next thing is a song and it's called Surrender to Me. It's by a band called Fire City Funk, and this is something that just popped up on my Spotify Discover Weekly. I will say that most of the stuff that they want me to discover is very bad, like 80-20 rule. I like 20% of it, so I was actually happy to see that this new song come up on my thing, and I've just been listening to this song like on repeat. Every time I get in the car to go somewhere, I usually turn it on, and I'm probably going to burn the song out and get sick of it, but right now it is my favorite song. For food, I've been eating cotton candy grapes like religiously, and let me tell you the secret to this. I put them in the freezer for about 30 minutes and then they're kind of like really cold and kind of like an ice cream kind of texture. It's a really low calorie snack. I will say that they're kind of pricey. I usually get them at Publix. I think they do have them at Aldi sometimes, but that is like my delicacy for the week when I go to the grocery store. I love cotton candy grapes. The last of my favorites is a show called What We Do in the Shadows. It is a vampire show and it is hilarious. I love it so much. I watch it pretty much every evening and I'm on season 3 right now. I would definitely say that I got started late to it. Season 4 is out right now. I think it's coming out weekly and I just really love it. I was a big fan of True Blood when it came out. I like the campy, kind of silly vampire humor. I don't like the more serious vampire shows, but like, who doesn't love like a good vampire show? So I want to wrap this up by kind of telling you guys that if there's anything in the video that you want me to explain more or you want me to expand on or make another video about, you can let me know in the comment section. Or if you have questions or need clarity for things, I'm happy to answer questions. I just think that this is a really good activity for me personally. I really want to be accountable and I feel like posting to the internet and having other people hold you to it is a good way to do that. You know, people are definitely going to let you know if you are letting them down. So I will be making another update video after the month is over to discuss what goals I completed and also to set goals for September. I'm not really sure what the theme of September is going to be because right now my main focus is like just taking care of my physical body and also taking care of my mental health. So hopefully by the time that I check in with you guys a month from now, I will have some progress made with both of those. I will have had my surgery, I will have found a new therapist, and I will have done a lot of new experiences. That's my goal. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. I will catch you guys in the next video, but take care until then.